Good morning, everybody. It's the Tucson Urban Gardener here. Wanting to just do a bit of an update video, show you guys my morning ritual, I guess it is. For how I get everything watered and check on everything in my garden. Want to start trying to show my face on camera a bit more. I don't see why not. But yeah, I wanted to show you kind of what's going on in the garden. It's been about week and a half since I've done one of these videos. I wanted to kind of show you how everything's progressing in the garden, and it's progressing pretty well. So I guess let me start over here with the tomatoes. I'm gonna Well, apparently I'm not able to turn the camera around mid-video, which kind of sucks. But let's take a look here. So my tomatoes are all doing very well. They are starting to, some of their leaves facing east here are starting to curl a bit, just from the heat, which means that this is only going to get worse over time. So I'm kind of debating whether or not to cover this in a little bit of shade cloth to try to help with that. Thing is, this is very thick coverage too, and so if some of the outer leaves, curl up and burn a little bit, that's not that big of an issue because I still got so much plant that is protected. So it kind of provides its own shade cloth in a way. But if I want to do things really correctly, I probably would get a little bit of shade cloth and put it on this side instead. And I do have some. I gotta find some way of I got some extra shade cloth over here. I can try to find some, I guess, or find some clips or something to be able to attach that. So I might just do that. The tomatoes themselves are all starting to get really nice. These are the yellow pear tomatoes, as you can see, and I've got them all over the place, and they are starting to kind of yellow up a little bit. They're not ready yet, but they will be soon. Let's see here. I recently added this. This is a green zebra tomato, so that'll have to get a little bit bigger, of course. My Roma tomatoes are looking very nice in here. Those are the San Marzanos. I've got my these are the Indigo Rose tomatoes, and there's just tons on both of this and the plant right next to it here. Those are both Indigo Roses. My Hawaiian Sweet is doing very well. I'm a little bit nervous about these being like on the ground, but so far I've checked them. They don't have any sort of blossom end rot or anything like that. And I do have some more new tomatoes growing up on the vines, which are all in there. So that's some good news there too. And this guy I just got in a tomato cage. I don't see any new tomatoes on him just yet, but I'm sure that'll be there soon. And this guy also is just now getting big enough to start setting fruit as well. So we'll see how that all goes. This is these are the poblanos, which have bushed out really nicely here from being topped, if you remember that. Probably about a month and a half ago, topped those, and now I've got a whole bunch of different tops on each of them. For the moment here, I'm still picking off the blooms because I want them to bush out a little bit, but I might leave one or two just to start getting it into that modality. All right, let's look at the squash here. These things are getting big, really big. Look at the size of this leaf, like massive. Tons and tons of flowers all throughout. These are the zucchinis. And I do have a couple growing in here. See there? The Tahona autumn squash is starting to come up and flop over, which is fine. These will trail all the way out to there probably. And also, this is my melon plant, which is starting to get a little bit wiry, but it will also vine out, so that's good. Got a couple peppers in here too. That's a bell pepper. I do have mixed throughout in here some Pekin peppers and some cayenne peppers as well, along with my jalapeno right there. So those will do just fine. They just need to get a little bit bigger. Over here I've put in a tomatillo, which is doing very well so far. I went ahead and put cages on both of these here. That's a black heirloom, and that I believe is a flame tomato, as well as that one being a flame tomato, so I'm excited to see that. This guy has now started to bloom and is starting to get bigger. I'm just kind of weaving him in and out all the way up the trellis, and hopefully he'll get all the way up there. The bean plant is doing some interesting stuff. That's my long bean there, and still got a lot of leaf curl on it, but it is putting out new leaves. You can see right here. It's not, you know, it's putting out very funny shaped leaves, so I'm not exactly sure what the issue is with it, but I'm going to be kind of researching that and trying to get that resolved. And this is some sort of melon. This could either be my Korean melon or a Kiwano melon. I'm going to have to kind of wait until it grows up to see what it is, but I'm okay with that. You'll notice I did have to pull quite a few of the mustard greens and the kale. I had an aphid infestation, and they were already starting to kind of go to seed and stuff like that, so I wasn't going to eat them anymore. I went ahead and pulled them instead of, you know, trying to like wash the aphids off and kill them. Instead, I went ahead and, you know, let my best one go to seed. So this one's these are some mustard green flowers coming up right there. I've also got an onion flowering. You'll see right here that onion blossom. It's really pretty. So that all is going really, really well. I pulled a couple of the radishes as well. They were starting to brown. The pods were starting to brown. So I went ahead and pulled them. And I'm just air drying them now out here, so that hopefully when these brown up, I'll be able to take the seeds out and I'll have radish seeds forever, basically. Sounds good, right? My mulberry tree is doing very, very well. It's very happy, and it starts. Hey, Jocko, back up. Come on, get out of there. It's doing very well in its spot. The stuff growing on the bottom here is potato. I didn't really realize that I did this until after, but apparently there were some potatoes in the compost that that I put in the bottom underneath this tree, and now those potatoes are growing up. So I'm not really too worried about it, because I'm obviously not going to pull up and eat the potatoes because I don't want to ruin the root system of this tree. But this will grow as a kind of a nice natural mulch, I guess, for the mulberry tree. And you know, I think that'll probably be a good thing overall, and eventually it'll just add extra nutrients to the soil. The mango tree is doing okay. It's had one leaf on it yellow, and one leaf on it kind of curled up and fell off. But other than that, it seems to be doing okay. I'm watering it right now about once a week, about once every 5 days. And that's going to get more and more frequent here. I put in some strawberries down below, and the strawberries need a lot more water than this does. So it's a little bit difficult for me so far to kind of get used to watering this and this at appropriate times, where it's not bad for the other. So that may or may not have been the best idea that I've had so far, but yeah, I think everything's going okay with the mango so far. I'm hoping. It seems, pretty green and vibrant, at least for the moment. So that's good. I just got to keep an eye on it. I'm not, super familiar and with doing trees yet, but this is like my first ones that I like really care about. So I'm trying to do them right. Here is the bell peppers, banana peppers, and a cute little ancho poblano over here. The bell peppers are all doing very, very nicely. Got several of them on here that are looking real good. Banana peppers are coming in nicely as well. I only got the one ancho poblano, but that's okay. These guys come out later in the season. Look at this. Sound a ball. Anyway, still doing okay over here with my Brussels sprouts and my eggplant. They're not setting fruit or anything just yet. I've had a couple of flowers, and I got lots more flowers coming in, you can see. So hopefully I'll get some eggplant this year. It'll be nice. These are yellow bell peppers that are coming in, and you'll notice I've got, pretty sure is a papaya, should be a papaya, coming in over here. My Travita oranges are all doing pretty nicely. I'm still waiting on anything else to pop up here. I'm just gonna be as patient as I possibly can with these guys. So mango's not popping up just yet. This is the mango seed, which I thought would, not be doing well because it's, it popped up. So I covered it in more soil, and then it popped up through that soil. So I'm just kind of letting it do its thing and watering it. It seems to be growing very strangely, but at least it does appear to be growing, so that's good. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and get my garden started on the watering. I've got this whole system set up so that this hose goes all the way around, all the way over there, and then across here. And then I've got it split to 3 ways, 3 soaker hoses over that way. I put it on for 30 minutes every morning, just like that. I need to get a new fitting for this hose. It does leak. In the meantime, I've got the bucket set up underneath here to catch that water so I can still use it without being so wasteful. And then I come over here with my wand. I'll go ahead and turn on the wand. I'm going to come in here and water my peppers manually. I want to make sure that these soak all the way through, which is usually about maybe 3 minutes or so per bucket, or per pot, I guess you call it. I'm going to go ahead and leave that to water while I check on my other plants over here. Most everything over here is doing very well, including my guavas are all looking very, very nice. These 3 right here. My pitayas, the dragon fruit, are all doing very well. My passion fruit are doing really, really well. They're really starting to come alive and put out lots of new growth and everything. I'm going to have to plant those pretty soon. and my white sapotes are all doing very nicely. The kiwis are doing pretty good. That one got chomped on a little bit, but this guy is doing nicely. This is another green zebra tomato, and I got to come in here and pick off the suckers. So you can see right here, got a connection right between the leaf and the stem. Got new growth coming out. That's a sucker, and I'm just going to pull it right off. So I'm going to do that with each of these. All right. And that's going to encourage the plant to grow up rather than out, and will ultimately yield me more tomatoes. The fig over here is doing nicely. The pineapple over here is doing nicely. Bananas are not doing so hot at the moment. I need to get them in the ground as soon as possible. And this fig over here is just doing fabulously. He's really enjoying life. So that's some good news there too. And the only other one is that I'm, actively working on is my moringa tree. And I'm trying to get the watering schedule right on this guy too, because they don't need a whole lot of water. But I went a little over a week not watering this guy, and his bottom leaves yellowed. And he started to look a little bit droopy as of last night. So I went ahead and watered him, and that had been about 9 days since I had last watered him. So I think I need to make sure to be doing it every 7, like on the mark. So like every Friday for me, I need to be doing that. But you can see that the new leaves look very nice, very healthy. It is putting out new growth, and it's doing well in general. So I just gotta be a little bit more vigilant with it. Right, so that's pretty much what I do every morning, before I head off to work, before I do everything else that I gotta do in a day. And this guy's probably been going long enough now, so time to move it on over to the other pot. Bring it on over here. But yeah, I mean, other than that, that's pretty much my morning schedule. Checking on everything, making sure everything is doing as best as I can. And I'm starting small, basically. This is, maybe to some people this is a lot that I'm doing already. To me, this, and compared to what a lot of other people are doing on YouTube, this is a very small operation thus far. But I expand as I can expand, and that's exactly what I encourage anyone else to do. Last year I only had 1 garden bed, and now this year I have 3. Last year I had no trees that I was growing myself. This year I have 2. Last year I had no wood chips. I had no mulch down throughout my side yard over here. This year I have the whole yard pretty much covered. Last year I wasn't trying to grow any new trees. This year I am. I'm trying to grow, probably 10 different varieties of trees, from seed or from cuttings or from whatever I can get my hands on, at that given moment. Last year I couldn't afford things like worm castings and mycorrhiza. Couldn't afford any of that, but this year I knew it was something that I wanted to have in my garden, and especially with things like my beautiful mango over here. I really care about being able to do that correctly. So I made sure that I was able to afford that investment, and made sure that, you know, when I bought the tree, that I was going to be able to provide the right kind of environment for it. So, you know, it's little small steps that I'm taking here, and, you know, hopefully, eventually, you know, I will have a proper food forest on my own property here. I've got a lot of land and a lot of room, and I'm lucky in that way. Not everybody has that, but for me, it's about finding ways to use it in the most effective way, both for the land itself and for my wallet. I'm not wealthy by any means. You know, we often struggle from bills to bills, you know, living paycheck to paycheck. But this is an investment that I'm willing to make, and I think is worth making. And that's why I'm trying to do it, because ultimately, you know, somewhere down the road here, this will stop being, you know, an expense and being a cost saver. It already does save me some costs, you know, with things like the vegetables and the you know, the different things that I can eat out of my garden. I don't have to buy those at the store, and they're better. You know, they taste better, they look better, and it's much more rewarding because it's coming out of my own garden. So hopefully, you know, within the next couple of years here, I'll really have something, you know, special and spectacular. But that's what's going on here at Gibbons Garden in the Tucson Urban Gardener channel. I'm Gibbon, by the way. So this is my garden. I think Jake Mace there said that every good garden needs a name. Well, mine's kind of goofy, but Gibbons Garden it is, and I like it. So anyway, hope everybody out there is doing well and enjoying their Friday. It's almost the weekend, so good things coming. So I'll leave you with this shot of my beautiful garden beds doing really well, and happy gardening, everybody.